Okay, good day everybody, this is BA Radiant Dawn, and we are back to apparently, like, what was it, 2022? Was when we had the last Green Dream, and it was like Thor, Duocorin, Hamana Zazura, and I don't remember who else, because honestly, that banner was meh. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the current Green Dream that's going on. So we've got Attuned Peony, we got Christmas Dimitri, we got Wind Tribe Claw, and we got Legendary Female Aleer, which is some choices, I guess. So this video is actually going to be doing two things once I kind of cover the units themselves that are happening in this banner for Hero Rises, because these units are the ones that are guaranteed. I want to kind of briefly talk about their matchups and why it's a little wacky that some of them won. Actually, pretty much 3 out of the 4 of them I think are wacky, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, I'll do that at the end. Okay, I'll do that at the end because I want to start off more positive. So this video is actually going to be, as you can tell, about the good and the bad, the pros and the cons of the Green Dream. So you've probably heard this phrase before, the Green Dream, and what is the Green Dream, you may ask? Well, you're pretty much looking at it. A selection of 4 units for a Hero Rises that are all monocolor. Some people love it, some people despise it, some people don't care about this banner at all, and some people are just tired of... Just tired, in general. So, this video, I'm going to do a disclaimer. I am completely anti-Green Dream, so seeing this actually hurts my soul. But I'm going to give credit to the Green Dream where credit is due, because even the worst of things, to me, I cannot argue that there are positives. I just can't, even if I tried. I could hate this banner to hell and back. But it doesn't change the fact that there are positives to a mono banner. Some of them are kind of funny. I asked, I'm going to do a quick shout out to the Phaeology Discord server, and specifically to Sprinkles and Penross to help me come up with more ideas for positives, because I have the negatives covered. I need people to kind of talk to me about why it's good. So I'm going to do both, listing off the goods and the bads, the pros and the cons of the Green Dream. And we're going to start off with the pros. So I actually have this written down just so I can read it off word for word for you guys. So just to prove I'm not like talking out of my ass here. So, the pros. So I do have to admit, you do have higher odds to possibly get more pulls. This is true. And there's like a formula, and I will show you guys the formula here, okay? I will show you guys like the calc, or not necessarily the calcs, but the results of the calcs that I will talk about later. So these here are what I'm talking about right now, okay? So this chart here, which if I'm to assume is correct, so odds of each color, this is for the Hero Rises specifically. Total 5 stars, you'll have an 8% chance to hit red, 6% chance to hit blue, 4.5% chance to hit colorless, and an 18% chance to get green, which looks really, really good, honestly. Focus 5 star, 13% of that, 13% of overall pulls on green could be 5 stars. Like the focus units, which is pretty cool if you want them, and we'll cover that in a second here. Yeah, I don't really understand the rest, but like special focus 5 star, sure. Non-focus 5 star, sure. Special 4 star special, that makes no sense because that doesn't exist in this banner. Which, I don't know if that changes this entire calculations. It might, but anyway, so just ignoring that and assuming it doesn't change. Out of the 5% or something, that's like 3% to hit a focus and 2% to hit non-focus on green, if I understand this correctly. But then 5-star focus total rate's like 12.89. I don't understand this chart, honestly, but we're going to skip down to the bottom, because that's where actually the real nitty-gritty comes in. Actually, the color distribution. So in this chart, assuming it's correct, and this is the same chart that a lot of VTubers quote in favor of the Green Dream, it says specifically greens have the least odds of appearing on every circle. 25% chance for red, 25% chance for blue, 23% chance for green, and 26% for chance for colorless. So that means out of any color, you will have more frequently no 5 stars on green. I'm just going to point that out. We're going to move this to like, this is going to be a point for later, okay? But that's really interesting to me. But the positives for this chart, we're going to focus on the positives. So, chance for at least 1 orb is 73% chance for green. Average summoning per focus, about 7 summons per 5 star. So that could be a maximum of 35 orbs and like a minimum of 25? 27? I don't know. Let me just do the quick math in my head here. So, every 7, roughly round up, so every 7 summons will be a focus, is what the math is saying here. So, a full circle is 20, so if you get all greens, and this is the cheapest possible way, you can get all greens, and then, like, 2 more, so that's 20, 25, 29 orbs versus 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So, like, 29 to 35 orbs, you'll hit a 5 star. And it says right here, average orbs per focus is roughly 28 orbs. So yeah, my math kind of adds up. I just guess I could have just looked down below. So yes, you do have higher odds to possibly get more pulls. I will grant it that, right? I cannot argue that. It's apparently being shown here. Okay? A monocolor banner is great if you do not care about what you actually pull. If you just want a lot of units out of the green pool in general, focus and off focus, then this could be good for you. Like, this could be a really good banner for you in that case, which is fair. Which is fair. That's something else I can admit to. Now, the orb per 5 star ratio can be better, which is what was shown in the chart there. The 1 in 28 orbs or whatever it is to get a 5 star. That sounds really good. That sounds pretty like that. We would love that. If that like yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, that is a plus in my books. Nobody can complain about getting more 5 stars. So, this is one that Manic brought up that I actually really, really like. I love this point so much. So, she says, you don't have to check what colors have what focus heroes, which is true. They're all green. You don't have to go to the hero check to be like, oh yeah, what's the demote? Although this banner wouldn't have a demote anyway, but it's like, oh yeah, what's on this color? What's on that color? What do I actually care about? It's all on one color. You just go green. Problem solved, right? Like that's actually really, really nice, and that is a positive for this banner that I actually like. This is a really, really good thing in favor of Green Dream for me personally, because the amount of times I do that during a summoning session is like, oh yeah, what was on this color? Oh yeah, what did this color have anything that I cared about? The number of times I do that is insane. So not having to think about it or worry about it, and I could just fucking forget about it. I love it. Okay, I love that. And you're less likely to get a pity break on another color because there's more focus being done on green. So even the off focus rate has a higher chance on green. So even if you hit a 5 star on, let's say, red, because you don't have any green circles, or any green stones in a circle, and you hit like red, you have a lower chance to hit a 5 star on that red, which is fair, I guess. Like that is a point. And yeah. That's actually literally all everyone could think of for the positives. It's not a very big list, but like the main hills to be dying on here, like the main like claim to fame for the Green Dream is like you could get a higher rate. Like the chances are better for you to get more 5 stars. The more you spend, the more you could get, which is fair. That's how percentages tend to work. Now, this is the part of the video where people are gonna get probably pissed off at me, but I'm sorry for speaking the truth here. Okay, I'm just laying it down. If you want to say anything after this point is false, feel free to do so in the comment section. I've thought a lot about this, probably more than anybody ever has before, in terms of what's wrong with the Green Dream, okay? And that's why I had to go to other people to find positives, because I don't like the Green Dream. I'm very anti, but I will admit the positives are positives, and I can't actually argue that those positives are actually bad. But I could argue that there's flaws. So I kind of let one slip earlier, and we're going to go back to the odd sheet here. I kind of let it slip earlier about the fact that greens have the highest rate of not appearing on a circle. That is a distinct disadvantage to the Green Dream, okay? That can't be argued with it. It's in this chart. This chart is the Holy Bible. It's in this chart. Therefore, that's a point that nobody could take away from me. Now, I have heard a rebuttal to that point of, well, what if there's no green stone in that circle? You can't get a 5-star focus. You can't even get a 5-star at all because there's no green. Like you can't get a, there's no focus. So like without green, it's kind of like a dead circle. Now, the main point I hear consistently, which is wild, okay? This is something that's stated as a fact that I do not think anyone's thought, like truly broke down and actually truly thought about. They heard it somewhere, they believe it, they repeat it, right? So, the main point I keep hearing in rebuttal of what if there's no green stones is that, well, it doesn't matter because if there's no green stone, you wouldn't get a 5-star focus on another color even if there was a focus on that color. Now, this logic is flawed in so many different ways, okay? So you're telling me that on the A Hero Rises last year, I think, the one that was like 3 reds and Formotus, that because there was no red stone in a circle, that I can never pull a Formotus? Wait a minute, that doesn't add up. Because the way summoning actually works, and you could just think about this and it would kind of make sense, is that the game has multiple checks when a circle is dropped, right? When you're going to summon, there's multiple things the game does to check to see what's going to happen in that circle. The question is, so I put it very eloquently here. Give me 1 second here. I have to bounce back to this because I need to put it exactly how I worded it. Otherwise, I'm going to sound stupid. So, because like I did a really good job on this. I thought about this really hard, and I came up with a really good point in rebuttal to that rebuttal. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So the point that I always hear, and this is like word for word, is the way summoning circles work is that the units are determined as soon as the circle is created. If the units are all one color and that color isn't present, it's not like you would have a chance to summon a focus unit if they weren't all the same color. It takes a lot less orbs to get the same amount of focus units within a single color. Now, this is what I have an issue with when it comes to that point, because that's the most common rebuttal, because we're like, well, what if there's no green stone? And their rebuttal is exactly what I just read word for word, it basically is what I keep hearing. Now, here's what I said. I said, if this was the case, we would never get focus heroes at all. Because basically what this person is saying and what the common rebuttal is saying is that there is no check for focus heroes. Then how do we get them? There has to be a check, right? So, because there's a check, like the fact that like so there's each circle has like 4-ish checks, and one has to be what colors have focuses. Otherwise, we would never get a focus hero ever. Okay. The others would be: will there be a 5-star in this circle? What color will get the 5-star? And will it be a focus or a pity break? Now, on a mono banner, right? They do have a point in the fact that if it's all green, there's no green stones, you can't get a focus on another color. It's not possible because there's only green. So no green, no focus. It's pretty straightforward. Now, here's the thing. Why would it not change the outcomes if there was a focus on, let's say, red? Like, let's say it's 3 greens and a red, right? Why would the outcomes not change? Why would it still be the case that because there's no green 5-star there's no green stones at all, that there's no red focus on that circle? Like, that sounds wacky, right? Am I, like, just thinking incorrectly here? Comment down below if you think I'm just sounding, like, batshit crazy, but this kind of makes sense. Because there has to be a focus check. So if you take away one of the... Like, there has to be a check for the focus. And if you take away that check, it's a completely different outcome. If you insert that check, it's a different outcome. It's that easy. Like, this is basically saying that, like... The rebuttal is basically saying... yeah, because there's 3 reds and a colorless, that if there's no red stone, you can't get a colorless focus. Why the fuck not? Like, why? That is such flawed thinking, honestly. It makes no sense at all. Like, if you guys can make sense of it, again, comment down in the comment section and tell me why I'm wrong. Please do, because this just makes sense to me. So, what I said word for word is, now in the situation mentioned where the only focus is green and there's no green orbs, the outcome will change because there's one less check to go through. So it goes to reason, changing the formula changes the outcomes, and you can't say for certain a circle with no greens but a focus on a different color can't contain a 5-star focus on that color. You can't claim that. It's not possible. It's not the exact same situation. It's like taking... What's a good analogy? I don't know. It's like 1:40 in the morning, but you catch my drift, right? So yeah, it goes to reason, changing the formula changes the outcomes, and if there's 3 greens and a red, like, that changes the outcomes on that entire circle. You can't say that it doesn't, because there's an extra check. So, because the game has to go, okay, now there's a red focus, am I going to give something there? That changes the entire outcome of the circle. 100%. Right? I could say to give a point, maybe not in the same spot. So let's say bottom right would have a green, but like instead of that green, and like a green is a 5-star focus, or not a 5-star focus, but in that exact same spot is like a red, it can't be a 5-star focus too, like as well, which like it's still shoddy because it's still taking a completely different a completely different formula to get roughly the same outcome, which is impossible. You can't. It'd be like going 1 plus, let's say 2 plus 3, and then 2 times 3, and trying to make both equal 5. You can't do that. That's not actually mathematically possible. I'm sorry. So, if you guys have a better way of phrasing that, let me hear it, but this is what I keep hearing, and I kind of debunked it. Just saying. Okay, now, onto the other kind of negatives. So, this specific point here of what I mentioned before in terms of the color distribution is that green has the highest chance to not appear in a circle. This kind of pairs along with the point that I just mentioned, and that debunks the common rebuttal. Not only is that rebuttal just not true, it gets worse by the fact that green has the least chance to appear. That means you have a higher chance to not get a green stone than to not get red, blue, or colorless, which does not help and which actually hurts the Hero Rises banner. That makes you spend more orbs Now, this is going to go into the next point that's a negative for this here, for the Green Dream. It's more expensive to get to Spark. It's more expensive just in general. Now, I can give the fact that you do have a higher chance to get more pulls the more you pull, but like, you can do that with any banner though. The more you pull on a banner, the more pulls you can get. That's just common. That's just how every banner works. Doesn't matter if it's a Hero Rises mono or not. But even if I grant that, and the oh, I forgot about a positive. Okay, the one positive that was also mentioned is that it's more efficient on your orbs. In other words, being the 20 whatever percent, whatever, like the 18% at the top there. So per orb, you can get more 5 stars, but you're spending more orbs to get those more 5 stars, possibly. Now, this makes the banner, a mono banner, overall more expensive, because why would you pull on every color on a mono banner? You'd snipe. You'd snipe green and that's it, unless you didn't have a choice. Now, you cannot tell me that that's cheaper than 155 orbs. You can't. It's actually not possible. You can't make that claim. I believe from what I read, someone could double check this, and like, I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm saying something that based off of what someone else said. They said that it was at maximum like 195 orbs to get to a Spark. That's still a difference of 40 orbs per on the first Spark, and then 45 or 50 on like the second Spark and beyond. So if you're going 4 Sparks, you're spending an extra almost 200 orbs for the chance to get more 5 stars. Now, when I'm going to specifically mention free-to-play players here, or just players, us Fae players in general, what is our most valuable resource? Our orbs. So if it's more expensive for our orbs, why is it cheaper? Though now they will quote that it's more orbs per 5 star. If it's guaranteed, you are correct. But it's not guaranteed, is it? You have a higher chance to possibly get maybe more pulls. The chance is there, and that's why I put it in the positives, but it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in this game, okay? You can get no 5 stars to Spark. That's possible. Even on a mono banner, it's possible. Is it unlikely? Sure, but it's still possible. So, is it actually worth it to spend more orbs and even more money, depending on how you play this game, to maybe get more pulls? To me, no. But that is subjective. I disagree with that concept. But other people could agree, yes, it is more. It's based off of your own value. It's a subjective value. But objectively, it costs more orbs. So when I say subjective and objective, a subjective value is a value that is based off of your opinion. Like, I value saving as much orbs as possible. Therefore, I don't like mono because you're basically forced to spend more orbs. Now, if you have to start a sentence with "I think" or "I feel" or "I believe" or anything like that, that's subjective. That's not objective. Objectively, the math is really obvious in saying 155 orbs is cheaper than 195 orbs. There's no arguing that, okay? People could try until they're blue in the face. You cannot argue that. This is like saying, so let's see, it's $110 to buy the biggest orb pack in Fae, and then you have to spend more than $110 to, like you spend 110, you can spark an entire an entire banner off that if you go full circle. But if you go and snipe, you need to spend more money to get more orbs to actually get the spark. So people can't tell me with a straight face 100% that 2 money transactions is fewer than 1. You cannot tell me 2 is less than 1. You cannot tell me 195 is lower than 155. You just can't. I'm sorry. It's actually not freaking possible. So that is one con to, or not one con, one downside, one negative to the Green Dream. I'm pretty sure there's more. Just give me 1 second here. It's 2 in the morning, so I'm a little bit tired. So I've covered the chances. I've covered the rebuttal to the rebuttal, which just stomps. I've covered the fact that, like, each, whatever I just said. I already forgot what I just said. This is why I shouldn't be doing this at 2 in the morning, but in order to make it valid and to get my point across, while it's still somewhat fresh in my brain, but my brain's kind of turned off, is, yeah, I kind of got to record this now. Okay, so not only is it more expensive, that's what I just covered. Not only is it just, like, outright more expensive, orb-wise, resource-wise, but, like, you actually have to care about, you have to be perfectly fine with every single unit. If you're trying to snipe and you just want one unit or 2 units in particular, congrats, you're playing legendary mythic remix banners. Color sharing is bad, right? When you're trying to go for one unit on a legendary mythic banner, color sharing sucks ass. What makes a Hero Rises any different? There's more color sharing on a mono banner. There's more color sharing on the Green Dream, but somehow it's better? Excuse me? How is more of a bad thing better? Like, come on, you gotta admit that's a little warped thinking, right? Even if you have to, like, tell yourself, oh, I could maybe get more 5 stars. It's not guaranteed. So you're kind of lying to yourself there. But, like, you can't really make that claim either. It's just not good. It's just not good. Right? You have to, if you care only about 1 or 2 units, you're better off going on a freaking legendary mythic banner with color sharing, that color sharing legendary mythic banner is what made people hate color sharing in the first place. But adding more color sharing somehow makes it better. Now, I will give this point, I will give as a positive as well to the Green Dream here. If the Green Dream was all rearmed and attunes, even I would not be complaining about it, because that is just straight up subjective value. Having a fodder chain, and especially multiples on the same banner, even on the same color, is objectively better than any other outcome, unless every single color on the banner was also had a rearmed and attuned. That's the only way that could top that. But in terms of a Green Dream, the best possible Green Dream is all attuned and rearms. But here's the thing, we don't have that, so this isn't the Green Dream, okay? The name's a misnomer. This isn't the best possible banner. For example, if we look at the brackets right now, right? Or like who made it through, it's straight up not the best possible outcome for this entire A Hero Rises Green Dream, okay? Because honestly, there should not be a Green Dream here. There's no way in hell. Not a chance. So, here's the thing. Dimitri has a manual now. His value has instantly decreased because now he's not super special. You can get a manual for free. And you know what you can do with that manual? Give it to Peony. Tell me Dimitri is more valuable than Golveg with Flared Sparrow, Occultist Strike, and she's got the Pathfinder smoke skill, but that's not as impressive. But 2 of the best skills on calves, on tomes / calves that you could possibly fucking have in the game is somehow worse than a unit that you can get for free. Dimitri should not have won here. I'm sorry. Claude losing to Camilla is wild because Claude only has Prime as fodder? And that's like it. I'm pretty sure. He's got Prime and Lethality, but other units have Prime. Other units have Lethality. Claude is just, I don't know what the fuck Claude is doing here. And even the community is questioning why is Claude here. A majority of the people who are like, looking objectively at Claude versus Camilla, were like, Camilla should win this. So, this is bad even in the green matchup. So we got a bad green matchup winner. We got a bad split, color split matchup winner. Not necessarily bad. I like Dimitri. Now, let me preface this, okay? I love Edelgard, Winter Edelgard as a unit. I love her to bits. She's so much fun. I love to use her. She's just amazing. That does not make her better than Peony, objectively. Having Dimitri as a manual does not make him better than Gullveig, objectively. Okay? You might like Dimitri more. You might like him. He might be your favorite unit. That's subjective. That actually does not count into actual true value. His fodder has true value, but his fodder is obtained in a free manual. So what makes him have objective value doesn't really exist anymore, because you can just get one for free and multiply it. So, who cares? It doesn't matter. Gullveig objectively should have won that matchup. Camilla objectively should have won hers. The only one that was kind of wishy-washy, where I have to talk subjectively, is Sanaki versus Legendary Female Allir here. Now, granted, Legendary Male Allir just came out. I want to say he's better. I cannot quite prove that, so I will not make that as an objective claim. However, I have to look at the fodder, and Null Sea Disrupt 4 is really, really nice. That is really good fodder. It's only available on her and Legendary Guinevere, two legendary heroes. So it's very, very rare fodder at the moment. And the other one is Pledge, but Pledge on infantries is, like, the C slot on infantry units is so cutthroat, dude. You mostly want Canto control. Or on Citrine, you'll take Pledge. But, like, how many units besides Citrine would love Pledge that you would not take Canto control on? It's very few and far between. Null Sea Disrupt as well is very niche in my opinion. And like I said, I have to talk subjectively here, because objectively it's very, very difficult to like, compare. But the only objective way is to talk about the fodder, and that's what I'm doing right now. But Null Sea Disrupt 4 is also kind of niche, just because of the fact that, like, you want an Omni tank to have it, or a tank in general. So you want a unit that's paired with Brave Soren to have Null Sea Disrupt, or a unit that you're trying to tank Lion with to have Null Sea Disrupt. So you really only need like 1 or 2 units with it. You don't need multiples. Now, here's the issue. You just need 1 copy and you just need to multiply it. How hard is that? Now the funny thing is, to be fair, the unit that you can multiply Null Sea Disrupt with is the one rearm unit that has had the least amount of reruns, and that's Ganglot. That's right, even trash, shitty Ganglot still has value, okay? I don't think... No, I would honestly doubt, like, more than 10 people actually give a crap about Ganglot as a unit or character. But objective value, she still has value for being able to multiply skills. So you could actually just give a spare Guinevere or a spare Allir on a Legendary Mythic Banner pull, frickin', and make it a 2 out of 3 pulls on that banner. You'll get 1 of the 2, like, something, right? So, eventually you will pull Null Sea Disrupt 4, and you can just multiply it. You can do the same with Pledge. So, like, even the niche thing, you just need 1 copy and you're good. Granted, you could say the same thing about Sanaki. Like, you just need 1 copy of Sanaki, but Sanaki's a duo/harmonized. They come around twice a year. Debut banner, double special heroes. That's it. Much rarer unit, much rarer skill kit. Granted, all you need is 1 copy, but it's a lot harder to get that 1 copy when when they're not rerun every 3-4 months, right? So, like, objectively, looking at the skills, usage, and rarity, and how many times the units rerun, you have to go with Sanaki, dude. Sanaki should have won. Am I glad Legendary Female is here? Sure. Null Sea Disrupt 4 is nice. I don't give a crap about Pledge. There's only like a couple units that could actually make good use of it that would not want Canto control, because usually you'd want Canto control. But it's solid. She has solid fodder. So, like, that's not the biggest loss here, but it still kind of stings because dual harmonized units have more value because they're around a lot less. Now, funny thing is, that's a point someone made against me in terms of the Peony versus Edelgard matchup, which is kind of funny because Peony just has more objective value. So the fact that Peony has more objective value, but Legendary Female Leader has less is kind of funny to me. But anyway, like, yeah, it's very, very funny. So realistically speaking, we should not have gotten a Green Dream banner. It's just taking the worst possible things. So, I'm a firm believer of quality over quantity, right? I don't give a crap about quantity because I'm getting a bunch of units that are just not as good as others. So why the frick would you be happy about that? Like, ooh, I got like 10 copies of Wind Tribe Claude. That could have been freaking Camilla! You could have gotten a lot more value out of Camilla, but now you're stuck with Claude? What is Claude doing nowadays? He's getting wiped by Dual Byleth. Can Camilla kill Dual Byleth? I don't know, but she has a better shot. She has a better chance of killing him. Just straight up. So, like, you cannot tell me that it's not, like, this is the ideal banner, that this banner is perfect. You can't tell me that. 2 units for sure should have lost that made it, and the one that's kind of iffy has an objectively better version. Not even, like, they're, it's just painful. It's just painful. One has more fodder, way better fodder, and is not a manual that you can get for free. One, so Dimitri is a manual, Golvig is not. Golvig would win, objectively. Camilla's is straight up better in every way, shape, and form than Claude here. She has better support, she's a better nuke. The only thing she's losing is that she's legendary. But out of the categories, Camilla's still winning. And it should be by a landslide. And then Sanaki over Aleer, even if I have to resort to, like, Duo Harmonic over Legendary, because they're more rare. Because, like, they both, but, like, Sanaki's kit has a flared skill in it, which is phenomenally good. Granted, it's not the best flared skill, but the best flared skill is on Golvig, who also lost, so it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Like, congrats, guys. We have a banner that is not the best in any way, shape, or form. They're not all Artunda rearms. They're not all the best choices in their gauntlets fight, like in their matches. Majority of them. Pretty much all of them but Peony. Peony is the best one in her matchup, but all the other winners just no. Now, I will preface this I will go on to say that, like, if these are your favorite characters, good for you. I'm glad you guys get to get more copies of your favorites. But that's subjective. Talking straight objectively, Dimitri, Claude, and more than likely Aleer should not have won. I'm sorry. It's just it just makes no sense as to why they won. There's no actual reason besides, like, ooh, I like these. Cool, but that's not objective value. It's not value for everyone. It's value for you. So, like, that doesn't matter. Anyway, so I've gone on about this for a while. I'm pretty sure I've covered all the negatives and all the positives. The negatives, like, the positives are mostly like you could get more 5 stars, you could get more pulls, you do have higher chances, and, like, you have a lower chance of getting pity broken on another color, and the 5-starred orb ratio could be better. Now, do you notice that a lot of those have the words could? Because none of those are guaranteed. You could get more pulls, you could get more 5 stars, you have a higher chance, not a guaranteed chance, a higher chance. Your orb to 5-star ratio could be better. The only thing that's guaranteed in favor of the Green Dream is you don't have to check to see what units are on the colors. The funniest point is the only one that's guaranteed. Everything else is maybes and what ifs. Like, that doesn't look good, right? We can see that, yeah? Now, as for the positives, it's more expensive, period. Whether you want to talk your wallet or orbs count, or both, it's just flat out more expensive. That is fact. You can't argue that. That is just unarguable, okay? So, it costs more. It's proven that green has the highest chance of not appearing in a circle. That is also a fact. I debunked a point against that fact with a fact. Or I debunked what they thought was fact with a fact of my own, which is plain as day thinking. Like, that did make sense. The whole, like, it's different outcomes because it's different pools and different formulas for each thing. There's different checks. You remove a check, it's a different outcome. That's straightforward. That's easy. Easy peasy. So, the one thing they used to debunk that one point of what if there's no green stones is just straight up debunked right there. I'm sorry. You could try to debunk that. My response in the comment section, I would love to hear it. What else is just objectively facts? That this is not the best Green Dream banner possible. The best one we never even had a choice to get. And the second choice we didn't even get, because it'd be Camilla over Claude. So we didn't get the best version of this banner. That was mono. We didn't get the second best version of this banner. That was mono. Like the second most valuable version of this banner. That's mono. The third most valued version of this banner in general was mixed. We didn't get that either. We got downgrades in the form of Claude. So we got the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst here. Now, if you guys want to try to argue that, like, Claude has more value over Camilla, objectively, Dimitri has more objective value as a manual, like, even though there's a manual that you can get for free, somehow that he's still objectively more valuable than Golvig with Flared Sparrow and Occultist, be my guest. If you value Null C Disrupt 4 over, like, Duo Sonic-y as a unit, Nuke, and Fodder, sure. But, like, you'd have to objectively argue that. So, like, if you guys have any actual arguments in the comment section, or if you're just triggered by the fact that I'm, like, just spitting this information out, comment down below. Tell me what you think. Are you excited for the Green Dream? Are you not? Do you agree with the positives that I stated? Do you not? Because I did ask around, and there's only, like, I after asking around, I could only find, like, the 5 or 6 positives. And I have a whole lot of negatives and a whole lot of debugs to those positives, so in the end, whatever you guys like to believe is fine. And if you're happy that you got, like, if your favorite's Dimitri and you got and Dimitri's on this banner now, and, like, good for you. I'm happy that you're happy that you got what you wanted. That does not mean it's what the community deserved. When it comes to the Hero Rises banner, I'm gonna, like, end this video saying this statement. What I want from the Hero Rises banner is a banner for the community, not for the whales, not for the dolphins, not for people's faves, but what's best for the overall community. And what's best for the overall community is quantity, not quality, okay? Now, if those two things coincide, I love it. That's why I was like, attuned, rearmed, mono green, Green Dream, sure. I'd be on board, because that is objectively just such a good banner. It doesn't matter what 5-star focus you get, there's value. Because it'd be Nino, Sonya, Peony, Lucina. Cav, Infantry, and Flyer. Think of all the skills you could multiply with that, and it wouldn't matter which one you get, you're getting guaranteed value. Here's a question. Let's say you absolutely hate Peony, because I talked to someone, and even they had to admit, I have a point. Even if you hate Peony, she's your least favorite OC, she's your least favorite character in all of Fae, you, like, almost want to gag every time you see her appear, she still has value as a fodder factory. That is objective value right there. So even in the worst case scenario, like, you just despise this unit, you will bench her, you just do not want to see her, she still has value for multiplying skills to your favorites. So, tell me down in the comment section below what you guys thought of this banner, what you guys thought of this video. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate comments, but, like, I'm okay with that. I do not expect everyone to agree with me, because I firmly believe some people have been programmed to think a specific way, and I'm going against that. So it will take some time to like, for people that truly like, to like truly deeply think about this, right? It's gonna take some time. But if you disagree with anything I said, again, down in the comment section, let me know. I am more than happy to explain any of my points more thoroughly. Or if you just are like, no, you're full of shit, but here's the reason why, go ahead, I would love to hear it, please. Debunk my negatives with, like, guaranteed positive claims, please. I believe I did a good job of like looking at both sides of the coin here, even though I despise the green dream. Okay, I've tried my best, and I asked people who are pro green dream for positives, and that's what we got. I think I did a good job of debunking them. Basically, if this was a debate, tell me who you think won: green dream pro or green dream negative, anti. Based off of the points that I made, I'm curious, if this was a debate, which side would have won this? Okay? If you guys enjoyed this video, even though you probably didn't, I mean, if you didn't, drop a dislike. I'm okay with that. But if you enjoyed a deep delve into what makes, like, the pros and cons of the green dream as a whole, and if this video helped you decide which one you want more, or which one you value pertaining to against or pro, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts, community. I am here to be a voice of the people. That is the FaTuber's job. Not to promote my own voice, but to point out the pros and cons of every kind of thing. That is what I believe my job is here. And I'm more than fine. If you guys are pro Green Dream and you hate my guts, I'm fine being a villain. Make me a villain, I'm okay with that. This kind of video would only happen once a year. So, like, if this is the video you all hate of mine, I'm okay with that, okay? I'm okay with, like, getting roasted for this. But if you're gonna roast me, you gotta prove your points. Now, I did forget about one thing, though. And that's about the chart. I want somebody to prove their work on that chart. Show your work as to why green, like all 4 units on green, have a higher chance of 5 stars. Show your work. Like, you know how in school, teachers would, like, give you a math test, and then they dock you marks for not showing your work? I have to see the work, guys. I have to see the work. If you guys can find a link or something somewhere that breaks down the exact formula you used, and then apply it to now with the current green pool, with everything else, break it down fully, do all the calcs, I would love that. I will fold on that point right here and now, or I will make a video folding on that point later, if you guys can show your work. But as it sits right now, I am hearing a bunch of claims based off a chart that has no actual math to it. I could say I have a 99.987542116% chance of being right this entire video. No, there are chances where I could be wrong here. But I'm just spitting a number that sounds really, really good, right? Same with, like, I could just spit, with all 4 units on green, you have a 50% chance to get a 5-star in 10 orbs. And here's, like, a more broken down version of a percentage with more numbers to make it look good. I could easily say that. Because there's no work. You need to show your work, okay? That's why I said at the beginning, when I came to the chart, assuming this chart is correct, because where's the work? I need to see the math. And like I said, if you guys can find the actual formula and do the math and show it to me, I will make a video folding and being like, yeah, this person is correct, 100%, there are higher odds. But remember, they're not guaranteed, but I will fold on that point gladly, okay? Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and let me know down in the comment section what you think. And, yeah, this was fun. Bye! See you, everybody.